Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to have a playthrough of Warfighter Vietnam, from DVG Games. Alright, and we're going to start our campaign mission. So, campaign that came as one of my add-ons. It is campaign number 1, Heart of Darkness. And so, deployment campaign, pay 1 gear point in town to heal even treated or fix a total of 2 wounds. Victory, eliminate the legend, which we'll get to. We have campaign towns, and then we have desperation if we need to get to there. Okay, now one thing I learned, get this on my camera right, one thing I did learn is you can see there's 2 gray, 3 green, 3 yellow, 2 red, 1 black. Okay, so when we go to select our missions and our objectives, they are built based on this. So we use the gray is a nuisance, so we're only going to do 1 of these. We get to the common, there's only 2 of the 3 that we have to do. Same thing for renowned, 2 of the 3. Legendary 1, and then the mythical is 1. Okay, so what I did was, and in this game it's a little different because we start with 35 resource points. That's what I built my initial fire team with, is that 35. And then from there on out, and we'll earn hero points and equipment points that we can spend as we move forward. So as you can see, well, as you will see, these are the nuisance towns. So I mixed up the gray or the white, then I mixed up the green, and I put them in order. So we started with the, do it this way, it's easier. I have the one gray one, I don't know what it is yet, 2 green ones, 2 yellow, 1 red, 1 black. That's our towns that we're going to go through. And then when I get those, they're going to tell me what mission, what objective, everything that I have for the mission to do. Okay. Down here, I chose, make sure you can see him. Yep, Dare. He is a player soldier, and I have him with an M16, so he gained 2 experience points. He has the Do It skill. He takes battle fatigue, which adds 3 battle fatigue cards to my action deck, which I've already put in. And then he has 2 actions available. His health is a 5. He is actually a level 1. Okay, I did that because I needed I didn't have a lot of points. Yeah, I bought a medical bag, so he does have that in case we need it. I've kind of learned that's kind of important sometimes. He doesn't have the skill, but he's got the bag and the Do It. He pays 1 body count to gain 1 action, which we don't have any body count yet for him. Limit 1 per turn. Okay, I took a second player soldier, which is Tartarus. He gains 1 action, so he has 3. He gains 1 hand size, so when he does draw up, he'll gain the hand size. He already has a body count, and he has the charge in skill. So on the charge in skill, pay 1 body count to gain 1 move action, and he can add 2 to his search rolls. Okay. I took a non-player soldier, Keys. He has 3 actions. He uses a MAC-10 submachine gun. He has 1 body count, and his search is a +2. And then with I have a squatty, and it is Romeo. He has 3 actions. He's a range 0, so he's got to get up close. He does have the M69 flak vest, and the flak vest, he pays 1 experience point to cancel a suppress suffered from a hostile attack once per turn. Okay, so we have 4 soldiers. I have all 4 of them in the draw cup for them. Now, the enemies are tier level now, so they go they go gray, green, yellow, red, and the black. So we start with we have a deck, and they have their own As you can see from the color, there are only event cards in the deck. We're going to shuffle this before we play, but this is where we'll start with. And so on there, we'll see that when we get our mission and our objective and the location will tell us specifically what to draw, whether it's from this gray deck or, because we're at this bottom level, the green deck. So we'll shuffle this up too. So there could be two different enemy decks getting started with. As we move up, we'll have less of the gray, more of the green, and then some yellow. Then we get up to the yellow, probably won't be any gray. And then, so that's the way this works. So it's a little different. Okay. Then finally, before we start to play, a couple corrections I know I made on my first video. I treated my automatic fire as a spray, and I'm not supposed to do that unless I have a weapon that can actually have a spray, which usually needs a bipod. So the M16 has automatic fire. They only hit the target that they're hitting. The reason you use automatic fire is if you are really needing that kill, and also but it increases your chance to have to reload on the M16, which is a reload of 3, so it's fairly high actually, but that's what we have. And then we also have, I did, what else? There was something else I was doing wrong. I'll think of it, I'm sure. But I'm trying to make sure that I don't make those same mistakes again. So we'll see how this goes. So there it is. Okay, so let's find out what our first target is. We draw this first card, Nuisance Town, and we're going to the Old Huts. Okay, so here on the campaign map, we're on Old Huts. So this is the one we're going to. If every hostile card is eliminated when engaged, you gain 2 more gear points. Okay. So if I engage them and I eliminate them all, I gain 2 gear points for Old Huts. Okay. And my missions, in this case, I thought for sure it was going to tell me I had to use a certain mission and objective. But it did not. Okay, so we have 2 missions and 2 objectives. They're tied together. So I'm going to take these 2 because it tells you what the objective is. I don't know. I don't know. Whoop. Gee whiz. Just stumbling around here. All right. I have no idea which one's which. We're going to take this top one. It is Draft Morning, and its objective is Detroit City. Okay, so this mission we set aside. This is Search and Destroy with Military Madness. Okay, so we're going to set this one aside. This one we won't be using, but it could become later on if we need it for a desperation. All right, so our mission, we want to read everything on the mission. We get 26 resources. Time is 9. Okay, so we'll put that on 9. The objective goes in number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There he is. We'll come back and read that. Loadout is -2. I don't think I have any problem with loadout on any of my soldiers. I need a body count of 20. Hero points are 4. Gear points are 5. Detroit City. Add 2 to the soldier movement. And that's the start of the first soldier turn. Recon 2 locations. Cool. So I get to recon 2 locations at the start of the first soldier turn. That'll help me, because maybe I can get into some of this without getting killed. And I'm going to lay this Old Huts here, down here next to Dare, just as a reminder for me. Okay. And my objective is Detroit City. Free to activate. Eliminate present small huts. It's a critical site and it's a structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Okay, so what that means is I have an embedded enemy here. So he's going to be embedded. And when we activate that, I believe that's when this becomes, it gets engaged and gets put in there as the target. Okay, so we'll keep it off to the side. Or do we, it says engage when placed. Embedded. Okay, let's check the keyword for embedded. Let's just see what it says here. Just making sure, right? Embedded is right here. All right. It designates the hostile card as always being present, with the noted objective card. Do not include embedded hostile cards in the hostile deck. I did not. But Detroit City, and he is engaged when placed, so there he is. So he's up. And if he's engaged, let's see what it says. When engaged, pay 3 body count or reinforce 0 to 4. Oh. Be hit +3. No body count. Structure is immobile. Explosion and auto attacks gain a +1 penetration. He's protected. Ooh, there's a lot going on with that one. Engage when placed. Free to activate. Eliminate present. Small huts critical. I don't think you place this until you activate the card. Interesting question. I think I will check the rules, see if I can find what it says about that. Okay, so I was doing my research, couldn't find anything specific about embedding. The way I'm playing it is when this gets active, then this card becomes embedded and it's going to get engaged right away, which means we'll flip it over and we'll know what it is. So we have to get here to activate that, which will cause that. Now, a couple things about these. One, on this card, as you notice, there's these symbols right here. So for every mission card for these locations, you're going to get what we have to draw. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 spaces in between the mission and the objective. So my locations are going to be the first, I play them in order. So I get 2 of the gray and then 1 green location. So when I get ready to draw a location, once I get my locations for the gray, then I got to get a green location that has to get played there. Okay, so when I get to recon 2 locations, I'll probably recon those first 2 so that I know what they are. Be able to move into that. Unless I actually draw one, I don't have to recon right off the bat something that I want. So we'll find out when we draw our hands up. On this objective card, there used to be on the other objectives. Here, I'll show you. This is one from the core game. When you got there, it told you where your objective was, how many reticles you had to draw. Okay. In this one, it tells us now that we have to draw 7 gray reticles. So when we get to the objective, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what we have to draw, are 7 reticles. And of course, the embedded card is a 0, so it's not even going to count towards that reticle. So we'll have to draw 7 gray reticles once we get there. Okay. All right. So I think that covers the setup pretty well. And maybe what I should do is, because we spent a lot of time already just doing the setup and explaining it, making sure that we're all kind of on the same page. Maybe what I'll do is actually call this, do this as a separate video so it's short. You see what it is. If you're not interested in the setup, that's fine. And if you are, then you can see what we're kind of doing. You know, as I'm going through this, that, you know, I want to make sure that I'm seeing what we're doing here. So again, for our setup, I'll just show it one more time. The mission is draft morning. Now this says resources 26. Now I don't know if that means 26 on top of the 35 I already had, because I know that when we go to a future mission, the resources that we get are going to be listed there, and they are for gear points. So I think there's 26 gear points, and somewhere in these I'm supposed to have, according to the objective, or according to the rules in the campaign game, we're supposed to have resource markers, but I have not found any of those resource markers or counters. So I'm going to keep looking and see if I see those. But at this point, I don't see them. So I'm not really sure what they're referring to there. But I think I can keep track of them on a piece of paper. How many resource points, because we're going to need them on future missions. So if I start with the points that I spent right here, because I just get, sometimes, if we look at the campaign game, the campaign setup. So right there in the top left corner was 35 RP. Use these points to make the team you'll be starting with following the regular team building rules. Noting the following rule: every resource point you don't spend is turned into a gear point. Take gear point counters equal to the amount of resource points you don't spend. They stay with you during the campaign and may be spent later. You will have two different point types during the campaign. Hero points are spent on getting new soldiers and skills, while gear points are used to buy weapons, equipment, and ammo. If you don't spend those resource points on soldiers now, you won't be able to spend them for soldiers later. It'll be entirely for gear and ammo. So I wonder if that means that I could have spent 35 resource points on my soldiers, and then when I drew this, I got 26 for gear and ammo. That sort of makes sense. So 35, I could have a higher level soldiers here. Maybe I still stick with the 4 guys that I have, but I could increase the levels here of some of these guys and get them up to 35, because I have 16, 25, I have 29, and that was 29, 31, 33, 35. Yeah, so I spent my 35 that way, but I could increase my soldiers, and then I get 26 resource points for me to be able to draw ammo. And that would have been the same on the mission that I didn't get 26 resource points. So I think that's probably what I should do. So I'm going to relook at this a little bit. And then out of those 26 resource points, I can spend my ammo, and whatever's left, that'll be my carryover to the next mission. All right, let me go look at that. Okay, this makes more sense. So I spent 35 resource points to get the soldiers I wanted. So I was able to upgrade. I kept with the 4, but I was able to upgrade. Upgraded Dare to a level 2. It cost me 9 points now. He gained a pair of binoculars on his equipment. So let me, equipment cards. Let me get him a pair of binoculars. He gained those also. Once each soldier turn, you may spend 1 action. Move the top location card into your hand. Limit 1 per mission. Okay, so if I get stuck, I can move that up there. So I'm going to put them binoculars right there. Yes, I can use it. Okay, and then I have, he still has his medical bag that I bought for him. In fact, I think so I added grenades, right? Well, let's come back. Let's do the soldiers. So he's got everything he needs. He was still at 3 on his battle fatigue. Okay. Tartarus. He went up to a level 2, so he cost me 12. He didn't change anything. He just got closer to being that level 3. He gains health and gets a little better for us there. Okay, level Keys. He's still at a level 1, so no change with him. And then Romeo, I made him a level 2. It cost me 1 more point, and it makes his kill ratio a little better. He still has the flak vest. So that is 9 and 12 is 21, and 9 is 30, and 5 makes 35. So that's my 35 resource points. Now I had to buy equipment. I had 26 resource points available for equipment, so I spent M16, and my loadouts are -2. So I also had to pay attention to that. I gave him 2, 4, and 3 grenades. That's 8. His rifle is 3. That's 11. And 4 grenades makes 15. And I didn't have to buy anything else, so I spent 15 of my 26. So I'll just keep track of my resource points here. I didn't use any of these, so these transfer and become 11. Okay, so I have now 11 resource points available after this mission, plus whatever the mission earns for me. Okay, so my loadouts are -2, so that dropped Dare down to 8. So the rifle's 3. Oh yeah, so his, I may be wrong on this. I may have to change this. 3, 0 for that, 0 for that. 3 grenades is 6, and his medical bag is a 2. That's 8. Yep, he's good. Here for the carbine, he's a 3. His loadout's a 8, so he's only got 6. He has 3. His loadout, though, for the carbine is 2, and I gave him 4 grenades, so that's 6. All right. And then these guys, his loadout's a 1, so my non-player soldier, he's fine. And then Romeo doesn't have any. Okay, so I think now we're all set. Okay, we have everything set. We've got the 2 location decks so far. We've got the mission. We've got the objective. And we're all set. So I think what we'll do is we'll call this video our campaign Heart of Darkness setup and put that out there. And then mission timer's at 9, so I have 9 turns. I got to be moving. I got to get down here and clear this objective. It is a critical site, and it is a structure. So for a critical site, see, hostiles, critical site. Hostiles in a location with a critical site cannot leave unless they are unable to attack any soldier in their range. Ignore movement and fade sentences on hostile cards in active critical site locations. Place all hostiles drawn for location with this keyword in the location. Ignore placement rules. So they're all going to come into that hut when we do it. Okay. And the other one's a structure. I don't know, does that have any effect on us here? Let's see. ST structure reference remains in effect even if every remaining reticle is suppressed. Okay, so nothing right now. All right, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll make this our setup video. We spent a lot of time, but I wanted to make sure we got it right. And then we'll start our playthrough here pretty soon. Okay. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you please leave me your comments like you always do, and give me a thumbs up, like my video. All right, I'll see you guys for the playthrough.